Let's see what happens. It's 1-1 between DPG and Alpha X. Sorry, just getting my drink and stuff. As we dive into the bottom left side, the red Protoss play from Alpha X is classic. Alright, blue Zerg in the top right from DPG is Rogue. Rogue is having a bit of a rough time lately. Feels like he's losing some matches he shouldn't be. Lost to Cham in the World Team League in week 1. Obviously, last couple of weeks, some easier opponents in general. He beat Puzzle, and then last week he didn't play. DPG's roster is stacked enough that they don't have to play all of their top players every time. They really can just mix up who they send out, which is pretty crazy, really. Hatch gas, soon to be spawning pool on the way through. We get this set up, we get this rolling. Classic has been playing some fun PvZ. Has been mixing it up a lot, not always the same kind of Skytoss stuff. I like Classic's background, guys. I like that he just has a little bit of, a few trophies in the back. Just remind everyone he's, he was a champ of old, that he will be again, right? I think it's nice when the players have the trophies on display in the background. Rogue's just like, trophies? Wait, oh, I get those for winning the tournaments? Oh, all good. I just look at the bank account. I feel like Rogue would be that kind of guy, like, trophy, whatever. He's like, puts in a cupboard. He's like, yeah, I guess I'll, show my grandkids someday. How cool do you think it would be, guys, to be like, imagine you have kids and, your kids grow up and they're like, Dad, what do you used to do? And it's like, I just used to smash nerds in best of sevens offline. Here's a picture of me destroying yet another one of my victims. Brings up like the Rogue Zest VOD of Katowice last year. He's like, yeah, this is what I used to do to people. Butchell's like, my dad's a murderer! Oh, yeah. Oracle is heading into this main base to deal some damage to Proxy Stargate. Fixing it up a little bit as we get 2 drones, 3 drones, 4 drones. That gets 5 on the way out, so it's okay for Classic. Obviously, the Oracle takes some damage as well. We've got another Oracle coming up. Not going to see anything too Stargate focused beyond this, though, because the Stargate's proxied. That does open the potential of Rogue playing Mutas, because Mutas are always going to be better when there's not an active Stargate on the map, because then obviously it would be able to build Phoenix. You're not going to be able to keep that Stargate active, because Rogue at some point is going to go scouting for this, so Mutas are definitely more of a possibility here than usual. I would say on this map anyways, Mutas are kind of decent just because of the size of the map. So maybe what we see a bit further down the line. Let's let it play out a little bit though first and let this continue through. Oracle's just coming back around, trying to see what's up. Dealing a little bit of damage in that Twilight Council on the Forge. Coming up at the moment, getting that ready to go. And a robo facility as well, so yeah, just moving into that ground force now that we've got the initial setup going. So Oracle just moving around, seeing what it can do. And where it can get to. Yeah, he's been very active with these Oracles, right? I mean, constantly coming back in. Now, unfortunately, does get taken down. So loses one of the Oracles, but the activity's been good, right? And that's sort of what you want to be doing with these Oracles, staying active all the time as best as you can be. That's the sort of stuff that allows you to just take some good positions in this game and just to get set up nicely, etc. Now on our way just to a big gateway setup with Blink coming through and stuff as well. So definitely a lot of potential in the next little while here too, right? Where things can definitely get a little bit more dangerous and stuff. Should make some good fun, actually. I was just going to be seeing Oracle pulling back a little bit. And yeah, just, I mean, missile upgrade coming through. Oracle's heading around to the top side. Infestation pits building. These few lings are going to jump on a Stargate, and they're going to get rid of that pretty quickly, actually. So that Stargate is finally gotten rid of now. And Rogue just on his way to an infestation pit, but I mean, I'm actually kind of worried about the +1 blink timing for Rogue. Because I don't really see what Rogue has to defend here, you know? I don't see what Rogue does to... Like, what does he have right now? Hydrogen, like he's building Roach Ravager? I mean, I would say is there enough of it, but I see the army supplies being even, so typically I'm going to say no, probably not. Let's see how hard Classic presses this as well, right? Because that's definitely a part of this. If you press this hard enough, yes, Rogue might snap, but if you just say, I'm just kind of poking around, I'm not really too interested in really getting it on top of his base, then it's going to be less impactful overall. So a couple things to watch out for here is, I mean, Classic's just warping in more units. It definitely feels like he's going to go to, go for this to some extent. Like the force fields, you blink off to the left-hand side. Just wants to try and keep trading with the units that get stuck. Pros of Baals trying to open those force fields up. We do have a couple more available. Again, Classic just trying to take the best possible engagement. Because the better you trade right now, the sooner you hit that critical mass, which is just where your Stalkers really outnumber the Roach Ravager, and then you can justify some crazier blink-ins, make sure your units aren't retreating, and you can really put some finishing blows to a lot of these fights. So that's kind of where we are at, is I think these Stalkers are absolutely going to be enough. Like I say, Rogue's preparation, he was doing a lot of teching when this fight was getting ready to begin. Classic didn't blink on top of Roach Ravager yet, which might be smart, but I also feel like he's at the point where he maybe could, and you just don't want to let those units get away and rebuild elsewhere. He gets one base. Are we going to keep going, or are we going to be happy with the 4th base kill and back away? I think you should at the very least try and keep going, right? Because you've got Blink Stalkers that are typically going to get out of trouble a lot of the time, especially against Roach Ravager, which is what's being built. It just takes a while to finish off the few units that will still finish spawning off that base. Couple Baals coming down, Stalkers blinking back, still pressing forward a little bit. Another round of Stalkers coming in. Again, blinking back. Now the Roach count got a little bit better, and that's why I wonder, that previous kind of moment to aggressively blink maybe was there, but overall, Rogue supply is still dropping, so Classic is definitely doing, overall, the right sort of thing. Putting himself in a good positions here. Yeah, just waiting for our next moment to come around, see what happens when Classic next takes to the stage. As he's still just warping in Stalkers. +2 is finished soon as well. That might be something he thinks about waiting for. Look down the way as Rogue realizes he just needs to take a chance attack. Roll the dice and see if he can get there. If he can get there, brilliant. Yeah, maybe he won't get there, but even if you don't, at least you gave it a go. I think if you just don't do anything right now, you're just asking to die. If you just keep building Roach Ravager. Some Stalkers blink to the high ground initially. The rest are going to continue to blink back defensively. There's an Immortal here now as well. Those few Stalkers that blinked to the high ground are going to be... I mean, I can understand what he's trying to do. He's trying to open up a concave, right? He's trying to create a concave by blinking them over there. And I mean, to be fair, it wasn't necessarily wrong. It was not that bad at all, actually. Stalkers coming through and a few Group Tumors going down. Here comes the Ravagers trying to fight this back. And the Stalkers just backing it up a little bit further as well. On Immortal still in play. A couple more Corrosive Vials. I think these Stalkers are really kind of running out of steam a little bit up there. But we are attacking behind this, and off of this is Classic. But Rogue looks as though he has indeed survived. And Classic is just going to be content to say, okay, well, I did good damage. I slowed you down a lot. Let me kind of get teched up. Let me make sure I can deal with your tech. Because, like I say, Rogue did go to Lurkers, and That's something that now Classic has to respect. That's something he has to start dealing with, otherwise he'll be not having a good time as the game continues. Wings just on the counter-attack could be the sort of thing to turn the game around a little bit, right? I mean, I'm not saying he's going to wipe out an entire mineral line, but it's the sort of thing that gives you the chance at least to maybe get something done. Especially that Classic added on a bunch of sentries here. The thing about Glitter and Ashes is this map is fairly choked up. Like, a lot of these bases are difficult to engage into. And that, more than anything else, is really, I think, what is keeping Classic from being able to just pull the trigger here to some extent. Let's see if he has a little bit more space to work with, then he's really able to just get all of the Stalkers into range much more easily. Now there are Lurkers, and now he actually starts to Stargate at home upon seeing the Lurkers. So, in general, the one thing you need against Lurkers is detection. As a step one, right? Anything else still needs a detection. And the Oracle Revelation is just so much more reliable. So much more reliable than the Observers, you know? Classic moving back over to the right. Disruptor in production, cannons coming through, plenty of Lings making their way down that left-hand side. Disruptor shots trying to get set up. Yeah, just going to be seeing all of these Lings continuing through. Quite a lot of probes continuing to drop here. Zealots actually warping in will deal with this, but 9 probes dead already. Again, looks like Rogue is definitely getting into a little bit more of his comfort zone now, able to counterattack a little more, be able to put out a little bit extra here and there. Definitely feels like it's starting to go better and better for him. Disruptors gonna make it feel a little bit worse and worse for him, though. I mean, those first Disruptor shots are definitely not bad. I was going to be seeing some Zealots are going to go jumping onto the attempted Nidus in the main, so Classic aware of what Rogue is trying to do, and that's obviously a very good sign if you're a Classic fan, because the last thing you want is for Rogue to be starting to slip away and being able to get stuff like that going, because that's absolutely where games go very wrong for you very quickly. So I'm just going to go up the Ravagers, my goodness. I mean, it's a good thing they're chunky, right? Because if they're any smaller, losing a bunch of Ravagers like that would be so bad. You'd lose so many more. I mean, it's already bad as it is. Uh-oh, on the retreat, though. Oh, that one Disruptor off to the side gets a massive connection straight in the center of the retreating units. You know, what do? Do you stop retreating and take damage from the units that are chasing you, or do you just let the Disruptor go off? There's no winning in that battle. I actually have no idea what the better choice is. Maybe you keep retreating, because if you stop retreating, you like split back or something. Maybe you get force fielded, right? Like, not really sure if there was even sentries there, but you know, like in that moment, I think that's the logic. And I mean, in this case, Rogue is probably just not paying attention. It's probably better to try and split to some extent, I guess, based on the army that you're up against and what's where, etc. But it is very much so a case-by-case basis, I guess. Well, the Lurkers counterattacking have been continuing to do a pretty good job. Classic has a bank, and he's building carriers. And as he just slowly rebuilds into carriers, Rogue's preparation for carriers is absolutely zero. There was just nothing there at all. So if he doesn't have an answer to carriers when there's even 3 on the map, but I mean, say you get up to 6, well, that's going to be a major problem, and that's absolutely going to be one of the main ways that Rogue can expect to get back in this game, perhaps. Pray for the carriers, basically. Oh, sorry. God damn it, that was a completely wrong sentence. Only way for Classic to end this game, not get back into this game. I just put so many... I was going to say something about how Rogue is letting this game get away, and then in my head I was like, yeah, I'm going to change what I'm saying here. And then it went into a sentence that made absolutely zero sense, so... Apologies. We do see, I mean, this Nidus is one way for him to get back in the game. I think that's what I was kind of thinking about. As obviously it is doing some good damage, and Classic is taking a lot of hits, and he's losing some of the carriers, and suddenly Rogue is on the right hand side as well, and Classic is suddenly actually falling apart a little bit. Damn, this is taking him way too long to deal with. He needs detection over here. Get rid of these couple of lurkers. There's still units in his main base. And yeah, he is not mining the third. Suddenly Classic is down on 130 supply. How has it all gone so wrong so quickly? I'm not even sure. It is going horrendously as these disruptors are going to come down this ramp, and this time Rogue is just going to be able to kill them off. Wow. You know, a minute and a half ago, Rogue was like genuinely just on his way to being dead, and he had no answer to carriers on. Alright, loading into Pride of Altaris. Let's see what's lined up for us in a bit of PvZ here. Game number 2. Starts out in the bottom right with our red pro display from Alpha X. It is classic. Rogue on the top left, Dragon Phoenix Gaming looking to put them onto match point. If you can win this, it would be a 3-1 scoreline with Dark against Zound still to be played. That ZVP comes up as soon as this map is done. Why didn't he deal with the lurkers? Well, I mean, there's a lot going on at the end of the game, right? Like, I really feel like Classic had moments where he could just blink in and end the game so much sooner. Hey, what's up? Dadbot Extreme on the fresh new sub. Thank you so much, I appreciate it. Rolling Thunder on that 15-month resub on the Prime as well, so I hope you're having a nice day, Wardy. Thank you so much. Just getting caught up here a little bit. Look at Rogue just taking that gold base right away for his third. A lot of people will be digging that as their fourth, but he's just going to take it for his third base. Honestly, this gold base is the one thing that has been keeping this map, I think, very fresh so far. And it is unique because it's a gold base that is not 6 patches. Usually you only get 6 patches on a gold, right? So it's like boosted income of less workers, but you don't get the, it doesn't have as many resources on it as a full base would. This time it does. So it's really a gold base with a little bit of extra oomph on it as well, you know? It's like, it has that little extra. It's got that little bit more spice to it. It's kind of fun. I kind of forgot about that when this map made it to the map. Like, we casted these in the TLMC right a few months back, and I'm sure we talked about it plentiful then, but there's one of the features I actually kind of forgot about until someone brought it up again. I was like, oh man, that's actually... It makes it interesting. I mean, it makes a lot of people complain about it. But it does mean it's something that we just, like I say, we just don't see as much, which is, I think, always cool in its own right. Well, Deb moving up to the top side. He's going to put some pressure on there. Is our Void Ray now starting out from Classic, getting that underway. Hawk coming through, drones taking some nibbles, just going to be seeing that robo facility on the way up with the Void Ray building as well. Auto activates, Overlord taking some hits and starting to go down. I mean, just going to see a fleet beacon quickly, so now we're going to take a second Stargate very quick with this fleet beacon, and that will be the way which we continue on for a few moments now. So into the fast, I mean, Tempest would not be terrible for pushing that gold base a little bit. That's something that a few people have been doing. I would actually also, more expect Tempest here than the alternative. I see a third Nexus put down. And I feel like the ambient sounds on these maps are driving me insane. You guys hear that like constant whirring in the background? This is something I've not realized because I have ambient sounds off when I cast, like, from my own point of view. It feels like there's just like a permanent whirring in the background. I'm like, I can just hear it still. It's not going away. It's really weird. It might be a little bit too quiet to pick up on the stream, but like, it's just like in the back of my headphones. We're actually going to recall an Adept and 2 Zealots, but the other Adept is going to be shading through. It was missed on the recall. Zerglings are going to be surrounding this Nexus, so an attempt at a third, not going to go very well. That's a straight up cancel, so the third base slowed down massively here by Rogue. As Classic continues into Tectonic Destabilizers, that's going to be the bonus damage to buildings on those Tempests. What that means is that obviously that then you can pick away that hatchery on the gold base so much more easily, so something else to absolutely watch out for. Let's see what these Tempests can do. Plenty of queens here to start us off as the first few shots go out. Big counterattack from Rogue, man. Classic does not have units to deal with a counterattack like this. There's just so many roaches. The Void Rays are building, but because you went up to like 4 Tempests, it just means you're missing like what could already be like 2 Void Rays to start dealing with this, and it just gives these roaches so much time to deal damage. There's one Void showing up. Let's see, I mean, honestly, these roaches are doing less than I thought they would already, but I mean, there's some time for them to deal damage, right? I mean, credit where it's due. This is only 4 workers going down. Wow, I thought this was going to be way worse for Classic. I felt like this was perfect for Rogue. Now he's going to start getting some more workers on the picture-in-picture. It's starting to really rise up a little extra. Okay, so he's finally getting some better damage done. These Tempests are being turned away. Rogue has money to build Corruptors in a moment. And Corruptors will actually really turn this around now, because Corruptors are going to mean you can actually just chase these Tempests off. And if those Tempests get chased off, well, that's the end of this pressure. And then this game becomes a little bit more stationary for just a little while. Across to the left, the Tempest putting in some work. Queens taking damage. And now this Spore Crawler kind of being blasted. Like I said, 11 Corruptors on the way through. I guess the question is going to be, more than anything else then, is there actually going to be a possibility of these Void Rays being enough against the Corruptors? And as the gold base is very low. Here come the first Corruptors, who's going to spawn straight away. Instantly Prismatic Alignment from the Void Rays. Kills one Void. Needs all the rest of the Corruptors to kind of really come in together at the same time, though. There we go. Just going to go for that Void Ray, which hadn't activated already, as we are going to be seeing that one Queen left over fighting, but Rogue does not have enough. It is actually working out from Classic. Wow. And I really thought the Roaches were going to get more done across the map, and then obviously they did not, and this is just not enough Corruptors all at once. And Rogue is going to let this one slip away. We're going to get tied up once again. Rogue is muttering to himself, unimpressed at how this turned out. The gold base finally falls. That's a big part of going for these Tempests and the Tectonic Destabilizers. And we have Classic coming through to put an end to this, right? I mean, the Voids have Prismatic again, so those Corruptors won't do anything. Oh, it's a desk smash from Rogue as well. He cannot get going in this league. I mean, this could have been a 2-0 from Classic. He was doing great in that first game. Sorry guys, they got started pretty quick. I was just checking the puppy was alright and took her out for a moment, so apologies for me not being back for the start of the game. But we are set to go into game number 1 of Dark and Zown. And we start on Hardwire. See what comes of this. Is it a cannon rush from Zown? Wow, so starting with the cannon rush. Yeah, like I say, apologies that I only just got back a few moments ago. That one's on me. Well, we get the triple pylon wall up behind the gas, so that's going to be the cannon rush position here for the moment. As we're just going to put our first cannon down, cancel, and we re-wall. The probe isn't out though, so just wants to re-wall while he could, so he could keep the probe here for a little bit longer, I assume. And then we'll go from there in a little bit, I guess, and see what else can be done. Probe eventually breaks down, does get 3 more cannons down before being killed off. Dark finishes this hatchery, is going to build a roach drone. I don't think that saves the hatchery if all these other cannons finish. But with this amount of cannons building, do you maybe have the roach counterattack possibility? I would say yes. It's a pretty good chance that you at least get a go of going across the map and seeing what you can do, right? I'm going to cancel 2 of the cannons there as down. He's happy that they're going to get up and that they will probably just get the job done here without further issues. So, I mean, that seems fine to me as our cannons work their way through the hatchery. That will begin. It's going to be seeing this hatchery going down. Like I said, the roach is coming through. After this, I mean, 3rd hatchery taken from Dark at the moment. The roaches will eventually break down these cannons as well and give access to the natural. There's only shields lost there initially, though, off the first few broodlings, so nothing too much of a problem there to start us off at least. I was going to be seeing our adept coming back away up to the north, just going to go see what's going on. And put a bit more pressure on then. So I'd say okay for Zown, definitely, right? I mean, it's a big investment, but he gets done what you would kind of want to get done here. You know, you don't look for much more than this, because there's not much more you can do than straight up kill off a natural, right? So, yeah, I mean, it pulls a bit of chaos in the game, disrupts the early game a little bit. You got the kill. I'd say you've got to be kind of happy with this at the moment, right? Stargate building from Zown. And it's just going to be seeing a couple of Ravagers picking their way through these structures, as we kind of mentioned was going to happen before. That is going to be a cleanup. The 2 Adepts are going to try and shade to the main base, put on some pressure from the 3rd, but looks as though that Dark's units were enough of a threat that will not sustain into anything more serious. There's a few drones not mining, though, that are not transferring either, so I'll give you a little bit of extended lost mining time right there as well. There's our Void Ray now coming in. Just going to be rolling through a little bit. The +1 air weapons getting going. So all of that's still coming through. That Void Ray is going to activate, getting rid of this Overlord out the front nice and quickly. And of course, the +1 air weapons is probably just going to show us a double Stargate Void Ray style to continue on with. I mean, we know it, we love it. Well, do we love it? Well, we know it at least. It's going to be seeing our second Stargates dropping down then. And yeah, let's see. I mean, Dark obviously very late 3rd hatchery. Obviously, in general, this entire game has been mixed up a little bit from the initial expectations, so that's fine. But it's the craziest thing in the world. You see the couple probes coming through as well. So all of this just getting going, and yeah, just gonna see how Link Speak is kind of just ticking along a little bit as well. All looking decently at the moment here. as we continue through. Well, it's still just kind of moving along and just going to be seeing the setup continuing then, as we're just going to see the Void's able to get themselves into the main base and going to activate a decent chunk of damage right away. Just going to pick away at this, and that will be that pretty much. Obviously, Zan taking his own chance to get third base. Everything is obviously out of sync from the initial cannon rush, so that continues along. And as I just have our infestation pick going to be pretty up kind of shortly. These few Void Rays coming through, and just going to be seeing the couple of Voids, Robobay, etc. All of that continuing right now. Our Pathogen Gland starts up on the infestation pit as well, so just getting that energy rolling. As we continue along, nice and easily. Robo Bay from Zound, kind of what we expect, right? Yeah, Void Ray is just continuing, so we have just a lot of production and setting up. I mean, those infestors are pretty quick. I'm a little surprised about the speed of all of the infestors being produced, actually. I guess it's a little bit off from initial expectations, but nothing really like super crazy overall still, right? It's pretty regular across the board. Like, I mean, you can still just get into infestors and play microbial shroud and stuff. I just wouldn't have pinned there being as many infestors as quickly as there are right now. That's all. So we'll continue and see, I suppose. As the Void Ray gets pushed away, the Hive coming up, Flux Veins coming through, and there's even Neural Parasite, so maybe it is a little bit more of a different setup to usual then. Just gonna play a bit more kind of neural heavy. You know, usually you don't get that neural as quickly as Zound does see a lot of the infestors, so he's got a rough idea of what he plays against here. All of our Void Rays around that right-hand side and rally toward the main base. And come straight through. Spore Crawler's going down immediately. First spore, second spore. Some Queen's going to get blasted as well. Going to for a moment start lining up on the Hive tech, but Hive doesn't come through. Still seeing that Twilight Council going to be finishing shortly as we see our carrier production also just on the way up, and yeah, I mean, a whole ton of extra gateways starting from down as well now, so really seeing him ready himself for this kind of later game now. These Void Rays coming around through the center. It's coming through, picking off a little bit of crew spread, and just kind of getting going as we get rid of a couple more Voids. Overall, I'd say we're not doing fine. Carriers are just on the way up, and we really are just entering our later stages of a little bit of macro PvZ. I mean, don't you all just love it? Isn't this just what we've been waiting for? Kind of, yeah. Kinda is. I really expected to see a game like this between Rogue and Classic given the maps they played, but I guess Classic doesn't really play like that. Zound is a little bit more of a Stargatey guy, happy to play that Sky Toss and stuff, so I suppose it makes sense. Web is consuming our cannons. And not a good amount of damage, a good amount of Zerglings being picked away at pretty much right away. Again, this army just gathering up as two more Archons get settled down. They're going to start moving through the center here as well as our Void Rays head up to the top side. Just going to be seeing the units going to start picking their way through this set of rocks. Great Spire building in the main base, plus 3 missiles continuing through, and here we go, that Void Ray showing up. I mean, a couple of Vipers go down instantly. As Zound tries to get forward here, then a couple of Fungals and Parasitic Bombs. The carriers haven't really joined this fight just yet, as the Ultras would like to get in and be part of this. First few Disruptors get a few Queens each. Now we're dropping those Microbial Shrouds down. Obviously protect the few Queens that are remaining, but there's not a lot of them. The Ultra really is struggling as well. The Ultra's getting caught up everywhere. Now we got an Ultra that starts to chase down the Disruptors, but gets distracted by Zealots. Obviously, would it be nice to jump on those Disruptors? Man, Zound has just trashed Dark's army. It's not even close. At the same time, the natural expansion on the picture-in-picture has Archons just shredding it as well, so that's going to be a continued issue. And that's just going to be GG. Alpha Rex are going to take it to match point. If Alpha, I mean, already having to go to an ace kind of sucks from DPG. That's just not what they want to do. You know, they're not that kind of team. And, yeah, I mean, in some trouble again. I mean, you lose to Alpha Rex. Brilliant for Alpha Rex, of course. Don't get me wrong. But for DPG... Oh. I sung us into the game, guys. Bottom left, our red Protoss player from Alpha X. We have got Zound. In the top right, our blue Zerg player Dark, as our first match of the day may come to a close after this one. Fun matches here so far. It's been a good time. Second series of the day is actually pretty stacked as well. Kaisi Gaming taking on Team Liquid. Time takes on Harstem. Spirit takes on Euthermal. Solar takes on Clem. Tomorrow's match is also awesome. Make sure you tune in for Lambo versus Trap, Yun versus Keen, and Scarlet versus Armani from the Shopify Rebellion against the Afrika Freaks. And the underdogs, Team GP, take on, well, I guess now League favorites Team Envy. Maru, DRG, and Creator will fight Percival, Champ, and Prince in that order for mirrored matchups. And it feels like Wednesday is going to be a little bit... We'll talk about Wednesday further down the line. For now, that's the next couple of days of World Team League. A lot of great games going on in this event. And this was delayed off the weekend, which means we actually get a double dosage of World Team League this week. So we also have World Team League taking place Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Big matchups over Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I mean, Sunday is going to be amazing. Shopify Rebellion, Alpha X, Afrika Freaks, and Team Liquid. It's going to be a lot of fun. So, yeah, it's a really fun week of StarCraft 2 ahead of us, guys. It's looking as though it's going to be really, really awesome. And that's just the World Team League stuff. We have WardiTV events and stuff as well. I mean, we've got so many games for you guys. That's why you got to just chill out. Watch StarCraft 2 with me and have a good time, you know? That's how we work. We're going to give you all the action. That's going to be seeing a Stargate coming through. Our link speed getting started. See what Zan has planned for us this time. See if we go a bit different. I'm kind of intrigued to see Dark's late game if he doesn't have to start off from a weirder position as well. I think that's going to have a lot of... there's going to be a few differences, right? There's definitely going to be a good few comparisons compared to what we saw previously, that's for sure. Let's just see Queen here pushing this Adept back around, and as that happens, otherwise just continue with a battery coming through. This Warrior is going to zap down this Overlord, so an Overlord goes down pretty swiftly as well, gets cleaned up. It is going to be the Twilight Council, so it is bound to make things a little bit more interesting here in this game number 2 between the two of them. Game 6 of the overall series is if Dark wins, we do go to an ace match for our first series of the day, which I think would be fun, right? I'm down for a bit of ace match action. I think that could be an enjoyable old time. Resonating Glaives is going to start up. Two gates, a Robo Facility coming through. Using some Lings and a couple of Queens continuing out as well. And there is going to be Dark's decision. Dropping down the Nidus. I was going to say Lair Tag has to be used at some point, and he was, you know, with so many Lings in the production tab and stuff, you know, not that much gas mining really. It did feel as though Nidus was possibly one of the outcomes we could end up at, and, well, now it is going to be what we get. There's a pylon to the side, though, so that means that Dark will be seen as he gets the Nidus set up initially. So, Zan will have a chance to react, and then maybe Dark has to try Nidus elsewhere initially. The Voidray is watching the Lings, which get turned around from the front. Adept's going across the map. And to have Glaives against a Ling Queen Nidus attack feels pretty good, honestly, right? Because Adepts are going to trade well against pretty much everything that's being made right now. Dark starts a Baneling Nest, recognizing, hey, I'm in a bit of trouble. This does not match up well for me. The Ling Queen Nidus is absolutely meant to be kind of like an anti-Stargate setup, but I think with this amount of Adepts, I mean, the one thing is the Adepts are out of position, so maybe you make something happen off the back of this. Well, the Adepts recalled pretty quickly, because obviously you saw the Nidus setting up. The thing is, Ling should never do well here, right? And you just kite these Adepts back, you're going to have another Adept warp in soon. The Oracle needs to be careful. I mean, that goes down very quickly. As the Adepts, like I say, need to pick their fights carefully too, stay choked up, etc. There are a lot of Queens here, and those Queens are doing pretty well. Oh, I love that there's some Adepts across the map, though, dealing damage. That'll be on the picture-in-picture as 5 drones go down. Make that 6. Morphing some Banelings here. If you can force these Adepts to kind of split away from the Banes and so on, I mean, it just asks for disaster, right? Another Void Ray starts from Zan. I wonder if he's thinking if I get rid of the Queens, the Voids can deal with the rest of it. They come out Banelings. Let's see how well Zan can do against these. He splits backwards. Just about on time. Worker, I mean, overall supplies are pretty even. Dark is still taking damage as Zan is micro and the Adepts on the other side continue to deal damage, even picking off reinforcing Zerglings with them. So he's having such a good time with that. Is Zan actually going to hold here? I mean, these Queens are now taking some damage. There's no Lings anymore. And now there's just a Spine Crawler left. And, well, Nidus says you can't bring anything out of it. We're going to bring the Queens and the Lings back out. Surrounding these Adepts a little bit. Zan. Yeah, I was going to say, it's such a kind of funny, right? But it can act as a trap. It's like, okay, I've gone, I've given up, you know, it's over. It's like, surprise! Jump out of the Nidus into a surround. It kind of works better than you'd think it would. It does feel like Zan is doing very well. I mean, he's got a Disruptor coming through too, and that will only be a massive aid. The Spine Crawl is maybe one of the more annoying parts of it. Zan has taken now a lead overall on the supply, both in workers and army supply is still even. Well, a few Banes are going to finish up here and going to go towards Adepts that have, again, already really split away pretty well. There's a Disruptor shot coming through, hits some Queens, forces a bunch of transfusions to be used right away, killed one. I mean, here come more Zerglings streaming through, but into Resonating Glaive, Adept Fire it's probably just not going to be enough. And I mean, Dog's even building some drones back at home, which should tell you just how this game is currently headed. And that is, it is not in Dog's favor as another disruptor shot. Boom, a queen goes down just nice and quickly again. I mean, there's barely transfusions left on the queens as these adepts work their way through some of them. We pull back to again to the choke point against the Zerglings as well, so Zaun uses that position nicely. And I mean, there's another couple of banelings again. Dog has given up a lot of this pressure now to make drones instead of more units. But Zaun is going to hold, and this was such a committed attack from Dog. You have to wonder if that is not going to be too much, and if Zaun might just walk away with this game now. Very, very possible. As our adepts are going to go shading up to the top side, so they're going to put on some pressure. We go into Blink on the follow-up. A couple of extra gateways. We don't mind seeing a Forge. I don't think we've had a Forge yet, right? So Forge would be kind of neat. Let's get some upgrades going alongside the rest of that as well. I think would fit in well at the moment. Oh, that's just a nice little bit of spotting as we dodge away from those banelings. So Zaun not going to let anything take down his economy on the third base, maintaining a good work account here. Competitive with Dog's economy, if not just straight up better than Dog's economy. Zaun going to ask for a quick little pause here, so hopefully nothing major as we can get this resumed soon. Yes, if Zaun wins this map, guys, AlphaX take the series win. Okay, game's resumed, so hopefully we get back in game. There we go. Zaun's had a lot of mouse issues lately. You might want to buy a new mouse, because I feel like I've seen him pause a bunch of times with the mouse problem as of late. Blood depth just out over to the side. Up shading behind this mineral line here. A couple drones getting hit. Plenty of sentries in this attack, which will include Blink being done and a good amount of disruptors. It's not going to be an easy attack to hold, put it that way. This is absolutely the sort of attack that's going to cause some serious issues, I think, right now. Bane's again trying to counterattack, but they're slow Banes and Zaun's paying attention, and that's just credit to Zaun. He's really not giving Doc a way back into this game, or at least not an easy way back into this game. He knows what he needs to do. Take this home for his team. It's a massive win for AlphaX. Really keeps this entire league kind of in motion, because I don't think anyone can predict where anyone's going to end up based on the current set of results we've had. Again, it's been a crazy first few weeks of the World Team League, and this week is starting off no different. AlphaX obviously can beat Dragon Phoenix game, and it's a surprise to see them. It's still the upset, right? Like, you know, Dragon Phoenix are the best team out there. They have got so much talent on their roster. You know, they're that team that really just shouldn't be losing games nonetheless. Yeah, losing multiple series this season already. Disruptor shot, boom, for a couple of Ravagers. Stalker's pulling back a bit. It's looking good, right? I mean, you get rid of the fourth base, it's already going to put Dark into trouble. Building more Disruptors. So there's more than just Stalkers, right? It's just, you know, there is going to be splash damage behind all of this as well. Already had some Disruptors in the fights too, right? And it just helps that little bit extra. The only thing I would say is, again, no +1 attack yet, so the upgrade not quite there from Zaun. As Dark attempts to hold on, that's definitely one of his better chances of holding on here. Time pressing forward. Roach Ravager again. I mean, Disruptor shot will be looking to be good on top of this. I mean, we don't fire it yet. Disruptor's kind of trailing behind. Uh-oh, Disruptor does just about edge away off creep, and we do dodge away. Is down a little bit afraid of that army. Doesn't want to fully commit against it just yet. The Knight is into the main base here. These couple of deaths will cover that. I'm just going to be seeing. I mean, if Dog can get a little counter-attack off with the Nidus, that would be neat. But obviously, again, Zaun is at least aware of it's happening. Good Disruptor shot. Clips a good amount of Roach Ravager. Let's see, Disruptors, again, protecting themselves down to the south a little bit is... Again, I feel like the longer this goes on as it's going at the moment, the better this is just going to turn out for Zaun, right? I mean, he's got a good economy. I really do feel like he's in a comfortable place. Disruptor shots here, going to grab a couple of queens even. Yeah, I mean, feels like we kind of know where this one's going. It's just going to be seeing Zaun having a... Well, I mean, this got a little bit messy, right? The problem is Disruptors just do so well over time that he's just going to continue. Even if he just gets a couple units every time, that's essentially free damage that the Disruptors are dealing. And Doc's just not really making up for that. And I mean, this is more than a couple of units as two Disruptors connect. Now you blink over here. Oh, the Burrow is really cute. The Burrow is really cute. It's just going to be seeing another Disruptor shot. Boom, boom. I'm just going to be seeing these queens getting picked away at as well. I do think that Zaun is obviously just going to finally find the final couple touches to this game. Right, this is going to be it. That was a fun game, though. I mean, Doc at least staying in it for a while and maybe making us think it was possible to keep it going. But Zaun is happy. 2-0's Doc. And Alpha X get the W. Alpha X, check you guys out. Big win after losing to Liquid